in this RS6, it's just so easy to go fast. The car's awake. It feels awake. The throttle feels awake. Everything about it feels just 110%. It's just unexplainable how this car can go from a normal car into a monster.
Hi, welcome to this week's episode. We're going to talk about the Audi RS6. It's the latest model from Audi, and it is an absolutely gorgeous vehicle. Now, the wagons have died in North America now for some time. It's been SUVs everywhere. Is this the wagon to change our minds? Is this 600 horsepower beast the one that we say, I will give it a shot? Look at these headlights. These are absolutely stunning, and Audi has done an incredible job. These headlights do all sorts of party tricks. The mouth of this car is brand new. It's very angular and it's very, very aggressive, and I absolutely love how it just comes out. With these huge air vents, there's so much airflow through the front of this car, and then there's this absolutely beautiful opening to allow the air to be channeled to the air intakes. If you follow me to the rest of this car, it's been fitted with these massive brakes, and it absolutely needs to have these huge brakes because this car is very heavy and it just needs it. Throughout the side, there's some sculpting going on with these very large side skirts, and it just does a party trick where it makes the car feel so much wider. And then if you follow it to the back through this gorgeous rear arch, it's just absolutely stunning. Well, at the back is what we're here for. It is the massive trunk or hatch. Just incredible. I mean, look at all this space. Seriously, come look at all this space. It is absolutely stunning in here. I don't know why people would want an SUV over this practicality. I mean, yeah, people are gonna say they like the higher up feeling, but this car is something else, and I am sold. I personally love this car. This is one of the best looking wagons, and this is one of the wagons that has mixed performance and style so perfectly that I just don't know where to fault it. The interior of the RS6 is absolutely beautiful. This is a really nice place to be. Every material feels very expensive. Everything feels so good to the touch. Everything feels very premium. Now, I've been in other Audi models where the layout is the same, but the crispness of the screen here, it just feels a little different, feels more expensive, feels more HD to look at. And that's a very nice feeling. Now, the rest of this car is absolutely beautiful. These seats haven't changed much from the previous model, but they really didn't need to. And they do a really good job at feeling very comfortable. They're more on the comfort side rather than the huggy racing feeling, but that's okay because this is a very good daily driver and it wants to be a daily driver. Everything in here has a slight general angle towards the driver and feels like everything is at the right touch. Everything feels at reach. Everything feels so good. The steering wheel of this car has not changed in shape overall. The center portion has changed a little bit, and it's definitely more luxurious feeling rather than sport. And in this RS model, it just fits right because this is a comfortable everyday driving car. And that design language is followed throughout in here. Everything is tailored towards comfort, and when you drive this car, it definitely is a very comfortable car. These paddle shifters are now aluminum and they feel really, really premium. They don't have any ridges like the old car did, and the old car had plastic paddles. These aluminum paddles just feel so good and they promote shifting. They got this little nice ridge right at the fingertips and they feel very good to shift. And that's a good thing because unlike the old car, this shift knob, well, it's very difficult to shift with it. I mean, you can, and it's possible through mechanical action, but it definitely is not a place where you'd want to put your hand and just shift it all the time. So having these nice paddles is definitely a nice bonus. The rest of this dash is absolutely simple, and that is beautiful because the rest of it may feel a little bit busy. You need your eye to take a rest as you follow through the rest of it, and it's just simple, clean, and beautiful. Up here, the center portion, looking at it, it feels like a spaceship. It's got a very modern feel, a very modern design, and everything is just at the right height. Well, if you're ready for the next step, this car has you covered. It's incredibly spacious in here, and I'm not a very tall guy, but there is a huge amount of headroom, leg room. The seat is in the position as if I were to be driving it, and I have around 6 inches of space in front of me, which is absolutely incredible. And there's this new digital display in here, which is feeling absolutely premium, especially for the rear seats. And you have heated and cooled seats in the rear. The interior lighting in this car feels very premium. It makes it feel like a very expensive place to be, and it is at $180,000. This car is on the pricey side, but it's definitely worth it for those who can afford it. This is one of the best cars that combines gorgeous interior, gorgeous exterior, and that daily drivability with that race car punch. Now let's go find out exactly how that feels.
This is one of the most anticipated cars in Canada, and it's quite a machine. It looks phenomenal outside and inside. It's just one of the best cars of 2020. This particular model it's got every feature. It's got a heads-up display, air ride, soft closing doors, Google Earth, and it's really a fantastic car. It feels fast. It's got the perfect weight on the steering wheel. This is a really heavy car, so having light steering really matters to offset the feeling of heaviness. This car, I think, is close to 5,000 pounds, and with that being said, it really doesn't feel like it. In here, it feels agile, it feels nimble, even though you are in a full wagon, and it's pretty fast too. This new Audi RS6 feels like an Audi. It has this Audi presence. It doesn't feel as wide on the road as it actually is. This car is over 2 meters wide, and being that wide, you got to be aware of its size, but as soon as you put this car through its paces, it just shrinks around you, and it's a really good sign of the suspension doing its thing. Even in its most aggressive setting, this car still rides quite soft, even though it has 22-inch rims, and it's just a nice ride overall. It's a very nice ride. The transmission has not received a huge update, I don't think. It feels about the same as the previous model. It doesn't feel good or bad, it just does its job really, really well all the time. If I go for a gear, it gives me a gear. If I go for 2 gears, it gives me 2 gears. So it's quick enough that it really matches the power very well. Coming from the previous model, this car is a huge upgrade, and it shows. It feels modern, it feels fresh in here. Everything that you look and you touch, all the buttons have a really good weight to them. This car has probably one of the best heads-up displays. If you sit nice and low, and if you're not very tall, usually most heads-up displays have this plastic piece that just constantly interferes with your line of sight, and this car is just perfect. I can't even tell that there's a heads-up display unit. The heads-up display itself is very bright and very clear, but it does give you quite a lot of information, so that could get busy, so you have like a big chunk of information in front of your face. You can reduce that, and that's nice. New in the new RS6 is also this flat carbon. It's an exposed carbon look. Looks very sporty, but I prefer the older models shiny carbon. It felt a little bit more expensive than this, even though this feels really nice to the touch. This is one of those special cars that you can get in every single day. You can drive it slow. You'll get good mileage out of it. You can drive it fast. You'll get a smile on your face. And if you really are part of the 1% that it's going to modify this car, as the owner of this car has, well, then you'd be happy to know that with just a simple tune, this car can go from a normal car and it can become a monster. Oh boy. This particular car makes 850 horsepower. 850 horsepower and almost 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. The nose rises and it lifts off and it feels like you're about to take off like an airplane. And running it through the red light, it does sound really, really, really good. In this new RS6, it's just so easy to go fast. And when you're done enjoying your time, you can just calm down and the car just becomes an everyday thing. It's hard to imagine that a wagon can be this fast and this comfortable, this economical, this good looking. It just has everything. I fail to see an area that this car isn't an absolute monster in. It feels tighter on the corners, it just shrinks when you drive it, and I'm speechless. I don't know what more to say. This car is phenomenal. It's been a pleasure to drive. It's incredible to be in. One of the best interiors, absolutely. Audi is just nailing it with these new interiors. Everybody stepped up their game, but I think Audi's placements of the screens and the button feeling and Google Earth and the digital display being so crisp. I love the red and white on the black background. Everything about this car is just perfect. Now, I say perfect, but I mean perfect for me. I am in my 30s and I want a more refined car. If you want this car to be loud, aggressive, and a race car, a wagon of this size really isn't it. If you want this to be a track car, because I'm sure there will be people out there saying, how can it be perfect? This car can't handle as well as, let's just say, a BMW M5. Well, it's not trying to be a BMW M5. It's trying to be a wagon, and there are very few wagons out there that can perform like this car can. There are Porsches, there are Mercedes AMGs, but a lot of those cars, like the E63, is just very loud all the time. It's very aggressive all the time. It's just driving it for long periods of time. It can tire you out. But this car, it doesn't do that. It's just as fast, and it's just so comfortable. The suspension is just so comfortable and so good in here that you can hit a pothole and you won't notice it. An AMG just rides rough, but it's meant to do that. It's meant to give you that raw feeling that this car just doesn't do. This car is silky smooth. It sounds silky smooth. It doesn't upset you. You floor it and you go and you're somewhere else really, really fast. The hatch is incredibly practical. All cars with hatches are very practical, but this car, it's one of the original cars that mix that formula of hatch, practicality, and speed so well. There's no drawback to this car being a hatchback. It's all positives. In conclusion, this car does everything so well. Speed, power, feeling, handling, everything. I'm speechless at how amazing this car turned out.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps us starting out, and I want to show you guys a lot more videos like this. We have an amazing RS3 upcoming next week, and I can't wait to show you guys that. Again, thank you so much and have a good day.